Episode 6 will pick up right where that emotional storm left us. Amy is still shaken, not only by the illnesses of Spartan and the Olympian's horse, but also by the way the entire community turned its back on her overnight. It's heartbreaking to see because Amy has always been the person who put horses first, who worked quietly and patiently, who earned trust through compassion rather than showmanship. And yet, one misunderstanding, one accusation, one carefully planted rumor was enough for everyone to forget the years of healing she gifted their horses and their families. The thing is, Amy is not just sad now, she is angry. Not the explosive kind of angry, but the quiet, burning one. The kind that grows when you've been betrayed by someone you didn't expect. She knows deep down that Nathan's sister is behind what happened, and this realization doesn't just hurt her because of the professional damage, but because of how personal it feels. This woman didn't just try to ruin Amy's work. She tried to stain the one thing left in Amy's life that she built for herself after losing Ty, after struggling with grief for so long, after learning how to breathe again. Amy's work with horses isn't just a job. It's her identity, her purpose, and to lose that would mean losing herself. But what makes everything more complicated is the emotional weight surrounding Nathan. Amy has been opening her heart slowly, piece by piece, very carefully, like someone who knows how painful it is to lose love. Nathan was different. He was gentle, respectful, supportive. Not pushing, not rushing, just being there. And that was enough for Amy to let Lindy get close to him, which is a huge decision in itself, because Amy would never let someone near her daughter unless she saw something real, something steady. But now, in episode 6, this delicate foundation between Amy and Nathan will be tested in the most painful way possible. Because Amy knows that accusing his sister will not only shake their bond, but possibly shatter it. And here's the cruel truth. Amy does not have solid proof yet. All she has are instincts, memories, and the feeling of something being wrong. And if Amy pushes this without evidence, the town will call her desperate, bitter, jealous, and unprofessional. On the other hand, if she stays silent, her career will continue to fall apart piece by piece. So she is trapped. This entire emotional chaos will carry into the Hudson Rodeo, which will be the main stage of episode 6. The event itself is supposed to be about celebration, community, and the energy of Heartland, but for Amy, it will be a battlefield. Everyone will be watching her every move, every touch, every decision. It's almost painful to imagine Amy walking into that rodeo knowing that most of the people there think she is irresponsible and careless with horses, the exact opposite of who she has always been. And yet she will still show up. Not because she wants to prove herself to them, but because she wants to prove to herself that she is stronger than their doubts. But Nathan's sister will also be there, and her presence will be like a shadow following Amy across every conversation, every glance, every whisper. The tension between them will grow slowly, quietly, until it becomes impossible to ignore. And here's where the suspense kicks in. Amy will try to act composed and professional, but deep inside, every beat of her heart will be louder, heavier, fueled by the need to expose the truth. This episode will not be about loud confrontations or dramatic shouting. It will be about looks, pauses, hesitations, and the silence between words. Because sometimes silence says more than screaming ever could, but the real emotional blow will come when Lindy steps in. Yes, Lindy will play a bigger role in episode 6 than we expect. Because even though she's young, Lindy has always seen more than anyone realizes. She watches, she listens, and she understands people in a quiet, instinctive way, just like her father. And when Amy reaches the point where she doesn't know whether to fight or to let go, it will be Lindy's words, simple and honest, that remind Amy who she is. Not just the miracle girl, not just the horse whisperer, but someone who refuses to let fear decide her life. And that realization will be the moment everything changes. Amy will not just try to clear her name, she will fight for it. As episode 6 progresses, the atmosphere around Amy will feel heavier, almost suffocating, as if the entire town is waiting for her to either break or prove them wrong. She will wake up every morning with the same pressure sitting on her chest, the pressure of knowing that every action she makes will be judged. Every whisper behind her back will sting. Every glance will remind her that people are questioning who she is. And yet she will keep moving, because if there is one thing Amy Fleming has never done, it is giving up. But the truth is, even the strongest hearts have limits, and this episode will show Amy reaching hers. The Hudson Rodeo is just around the corner, and Amy knows that this is more than an event. It is her chance to either repair her reputation or lose everything she has worked for. The thought alone is enough to make her hands shake when she brushes Spartan's mane. And it hurts to watch because Amy has always been calm around Spartan. That horse has seen her darkest days, her happiest days, her growing, her healing. But now, even Spartan can feel the stress in her touch. He nudges her gently, almost as if reminding her that she is not alone, that he is still there, that he always has been. And that moment, silent and emotional, will show us how deeply Amy's identity is tied to the work she does and the horses she heals. They are not just animals to her. They are family, they are purpose, they are home. But Nathan will sense this tension too. And this is where things get complicated. Nathan is not blind. He sees Amy struggling. He sees her avoiding the subject. He sees the pain she tries to swallow every time his sister's name is mentioned. And he will try to reach out, to be supportive, to ask questions that he hopes will give clarity. But Amy, still afraid of hurting him, will hold back, staying vague, choosing silence instead of honesty. And that silence will grow between them, like cracks in glass. Nathan's concern will slowly shift into confusion, and then into frustration, because from his perspective, he has done nothing wrong. And to him, Amy looks like she is pushing him away for no reason. This emotional misunderstanding is what makes this storyline so heartbreaking. Because both of them are hurting, both of them are trying, and both of them are scared. Not of each other, but of the consequences of the truth. Meanwhile, Nathan's sister will act as if nothing is wrong. And that will be the most infuriating part of episode 6. She will smile, she will socialize, she will help with preparations for the rodeo, and she will play the role of the innocent, thoughtful woman who is trying to reconnect with her family and community. And the worst part is, people will fall for it. They will admire her. They will sympathize with her. They will believe that she is the one who has been wronged by life, that she is trying to rebuild herself. And Amy will watch this happen while holding on to the knowledge that this same woman might have intentionally endangered 2 horses and destroyed her career just to hurt her. The injustice of it will be unbearable, and the show will use that frustration to build tension slowly, carefully, methodically, until the audience is just as desperate for the truth to come out as Amy is. And then there is the rodeo itself, the place where emotions are heightened, where reputations are displayed in front of the entire town, where every movement matters. Amy will walk into that arena with her head lifted high, but her heart pounding. People will look at her, some with pity, some with distrust, some with coldness. And Amy will feel all of it. Yet she will continue forward, holding onto her professionalism like a shield. Lindy will stand nearby, watching her mother closely, sensing her tension. And even though she may not fully understand the complexity of the situation, she will know that her mother is hurting. That instinctive emotional awareness is something Lindy has always carried, something she inherited from both Amy and Ty, and this awareness will guide Amy forward. In the moments when she feels like running away, the entire first half of episode 6 will be like a slow tightening of strings, small conversations that hold hidden meaning, subtle glances filled with unspoken accusations, the constant presence of Nathan's sister hovering like a shadow Amy cannot escape. And the audience will feel that tension growing and growing, as if the story is building towards something that cannot be stopped. Because it is. Amy cannot avoid the confrontation any longer. She cannot protect her heart, her business, and Nathan's feelings all at once. One of these things will break, and episode 6 will push her closer and closer to that breaking point, until the question is no longer if everything will explode, but when. As the rodeo day finally arrives, the emotional tension that has been slowly building around Amy will begin to shift into something heavier, something sharper. It's not just quiet worry anymore. It's the feeling that something is about to happen, something that can't be ignored or postponed. Amy will wake up early that morning, earlier than usual, not because she wants to prepare, but because she simply cannot sleep. Her mind will replay everything over and over again. Spartan getting sick, the Olympian's horse collapsing, the accusations, the looks, the silence, the way Nathan looked at her when she tried to explain but couldn't bring herself to speak the truth. She will stand in the kitchen, hands wrapped around a cup of coffee gone cold, staring at the window without really seeing anything. The weight of that day will already be sitting on her shoulders long before she steps into the crowd. And yet, even with that weight pressing her down, Amy will get up, tie her hair back, and move forward, because walking away has never been an option for her. She has handled grief, heartbreak, loneliness, and judgment before. But there is something different about this situation, something that feels more overwhelming than any battle she has fought before. This is not just about her, it's about Spartan, about her work, about her purpose, about the very identity she has built ever since losing Ty and learning to stand on her own again. But the rodeo grounds will only make this pressure louder. The moment Amy steps inside, she will feel the eyes on her, whispers that stop when she walks past. People whose expressions say everything without speaking a word. And the worst part is that she recognizes these people. She has helped their horses. She has worked beside them, supported them, cried with them, laughed with them. And now they hesitate to even look her in the eye. The betrayal will be subtle but deep. Still, Amy will not let her pain show. She will keep her shoulders straight, her expression calm, her steps steady. But inside, her heart will be racing, because she knows that one wrong move today could be the final push that destroys everything she has left. And this is where things begin to shift. Because while the world expects Amy to fall apart, to break under the pressure, to lose control, she will instead begin watching, observing, listening, every detail, every word, every gesture. Amy has always understood horses better than people, but grief has changed her. Experience has sharpened her instincts. And now, those instincts will start connecting pieces she hadn't seen before. Nathan's sister will be there as well, moving through the crowd gracefully, smiling, hugging people, acting humble and warm as if the entire scandal had never happened. And that is precisely what will make the truth harder to swallow. Because the most dangerous lies are the ones told with kindness. And Amy will watch her very closely, not with anger, but with focus. She will notice how the sister avoids looking at Spartan, how her eyes shift when someone mentions the Olympian, how she keeps a careful distance from the horses as if she knows Amy is watching. Yet she also makes sure that others see her as friendly, helpful, harmless. It's calculated, it's subtle, and it's working. People will praise her for being strong, for rebuilding herself, for trying to fix her past mistakes. And every compliment she receives will feel like a blade twisting deeper into Amy's heart. Nathan, on the other hand, will be caught in the middle without even realizing the full extent of the situation. He will be kind to Amy, gentle even, trying to understand her silence, trying to help without knowing what he is helping with. He will try to talk to her several times throughout the day, offering support, suggesting that they step away and talk privately. But Amy will keep holding herself back, waiting, watching, thinking, not because she doesn't trust Nathan, but because she knows that the truth will break him. And the moment she pushes forward, there will be no going back. That is the tragedy of this moment. Both Amy and Nathan care. Both want peace. Both want things to go back to the way they were. But the truth is standing between them like a wildfire. And Amy knows that love without honesty is just silence dressed as comfort. Eventually, something small will shift the energy. A comment, a look, a single moment where Nathan's sister slips. Not enough for the entire world to notice, but enough for Amy to see it clearly. Maybe it will be the way her expression changes when she sees Spartan healthy again. Maybe it will be the way she tenses when someone mentions the timeline of the horses getting sick. Maybe it will be the way she flinches when Amy walks closer. Whatever it is, it will be the thing Amy has been waiting for. The moment where instinct and evidence finally align. And when that moment happens, Amy will not react with anger or accusation. She will react with clarity. Calm, sharp, undeniable clarity. Because now she knows she was right. And that knowledge alone will change the entire energy of the episode. This is the turning point. The moment where Amy stops feeling like a victim and starts moving like someone who is about to reclaim everything that was taken from her. The moment where fear starts turning into action. But the heartbreaking part is that this realization will also make Amy understand something else. That saving her career means risking her relationship with Nathan. And that is what will make the upcoming confrontation feel so heavy. This isn't just about exposing a lie. It's about choosing truth over comfort, healing over silence, identity over love. And in true Heartland fashion, this emotional conflict will be the thing that shapes the entire second half of the episode. Because sometimes doing the right thing means losing something you deeply care about. And now, Amy must decide whether she is willing to take that risk. As the tension slowly reaches its breaking point, the rodeo crowd becomes a background blur to Amy's growing determination. Every breath she takes feels heavier, every movement feels deliberate. She is no longer reacting to the situation. She is preparing, and while she has always been gentle in how she deals with conflict, this time, Amy cannot afford gentleness. Her future depends on what she does next. And just when the moment seems like it might pass, Nathan's sister makes a mistake. A small one, almost invisible, but not invisible to Amy. She touches one of the horses, not with care, but with familiarity. Too much familiarity for someone who claims she has no experience with the animals Amy works with. Her hand hesitates, her eyes shift, and in that still second, Amy sees everything. The sister's guilt is not loud. It does not scream. It hides in her silence, and that silence says more than any confession ever could. The realization settles over Amy like cold air, confirming what she already knew deep down, but couldn't let herself acknowledge until now. And this is the moment Amy understands that staying quiet is no longer an option. But Amy also knows that confronting the truth in private will not be enough. The rumors did not happen in private. The blame, the whispering, the judgment, it all happened in public. And the only way to undo that damage is to reveal the truth where everyone can see it. This is the part that hurts the most because Amy is not doing this for revenge. She is not doing it to embarrass Nathan's sister. She is doing it to save her own life's work, to defend Spartan, to rebuild her identity. Yet she also knows that Nathan will see this differently. For him, it will not be about truth, it will be about loyalty, about family, about betrayal. And Amy knows she is about to break his heart in a way she never wanted to. The tragedy is that she does not have another choice. The confrontation begins subtly. Amy approaches the situation with calmness, a quiet clarity that she has gained from years of loss, growth, and rebuilding. She speaks carefully, saying only what needs to be said, choosing every word like a step across a frozen lake. But Nathan's sister starts to panic. Her composure begins to crack, and it shows, not in her words, but in her eyes. The guilt that she has been hiding starts to leak through. Her voice trembles. Her excuses stumble. The confident, innocent persona she built starts to collapse piece by piece. People begin to turn their attention. Whispers shift. Eyes move from Amy to her. The balance changes. This is the moment where the public begins to understand there is more to the story than they were told. But the emotional blow comes when Nathan arrives in the middle of it. He looks at both of them, confused, worried, already sensing that something irreversible is happening. Amy tries to explain, not with anger, not with accusation, but with honesty, because she has nothing else left to give. She explains what she saw, what she realized, what she believes happened. And for a brief second, Nathan's face falters. There is disbelief, shock, and something much deeper, hurt, because this is not just about the horses anymore. It is about trust. And Nathan is stuck between the woman he has slowly allowed into his heart and the sister he has spent years trying to help heal. There is no win here, no clean choice, no easy answer, just pain. The people around them begin to understand. Some step back, some look down, some start to connect all the pieces themselves. The truth begins to feel real, not just to Amy, but to everyone watching. And Nathan's sister, caught in the weight of so many eyes, so many expectations, so much pressure, breaks. Whether she confesses directly or simply fails to deny it, the result is the same. The illusion shatters. The truth is exposed. Amy's name begins to clear. Not instantly, not dramatically, but with a quiet shift in the air. People start to see her again, not as the problem, but as the victim of someone else's pain and jealousy. But this victory does not feel like a victory, because Nathan cannot look at Amy the same way in that moment. The hurt is too fresh, the emotions too raw. He does not lash out, he does not yell, he does not accuse. But he steps back. Just one step, but that step holds the weight of an entire relationship. A single step that says, I need space. A step that says, I don't know how to handle this. A step that says, this changes everything, and Amy feels it. Not just as a gesture, but as a wound, because she knew this was coming. She knew the truth was going to cost her something precious. But knowing a heartbreak is coming does not make it hurt any less. So she stands there, strong but shaking, cleared yet broken, victorious yet wounded. And the rodeo continues around her, loud and busy, as if nothing happened, because the world does not stop for pain, even when it should. What follows after the confrontation is the quiet aftermath, the part that hurts even more than the moment of impact itself. Amy will return to the ranch with Spartan beside her, and the silence will feel heavier than any words spoken at the rodeo. The world around her will look the same. The barns, the fields, the familiar wind moving through the trees. But it will not feel the same, because now everything has changed. The truth is out. Her name is no longer stained. The community will begin to shift back toward trusting her again, slowly, carefully, almost awkwardly, like someone trying to remember how to speak after being quiet for too long. Some will apologize, some will pretend they never doubted her, and some will simply move on without addressing anything at all. And Amy, who has always been the heart of patience and compassion, will accept this without bitterness. But the wound Nathan left behind when he stepped back from her will remain open. Not because he meant to hurt her, but because healing sometimes requires distance. And Amy understands that all too well. The strange thing is, the victory does not feel like a celebration. Clearing her name was necessary, but it came at a cost that Amy has not fully processed yet. She will stand alone in the barn, brushing Spartan's mane slowly, her hands steady but her breath uneven. Spartan will lean into her touch, grounding her, reminding her that she is still herself, still the woman who heals, who loves, who fights silently but fiercely. And it will be in that moment that Amy begins to understand something deeper. Growth does not always come from joy. Sometimes it comes from surviving the things that try to break you. And this time, Amy did not break. She bent, she shook, she hurt, but she did not shatter. That realization is powerful. It is quiet but strong. It is the kind of strength that comes only from loss, from rebuilding, from choosing to stand even when the ground beneath you feels uncertain. Lindy will come to her, gentle and small, but with eyes that see everything. She will ask the simple questions that cut through all the complexity adults create for themselves. And Amy will answer, not with long explanations, not with excuses, but with honesty. Because Lindy deserves the truth, even when that truth is painful. And through this conversation, Amy will understand the heart of the lesson this episode carries. Love is not about never hurting one another. It is about choosing to stay when things are hard. But sometimes staying requires time. And sometimes staying requires space. Nathan, meanwhile, will be dealing with his own reality. He is not the villain in this story. He is just a man caught between loyalty and truth, between his past and his future. He will stand at a distance, watching Amy from afar, not out of avoidance, but out of uncertainty. He will need time to understand how to move forward, how to rebuild trust in a world that just reminded him how fragile everything can be. And Amy will not chase him. Not because she doesn't want him, but because she respects him enough to let him find his footing. This is not the end of their story. Just a pause, a breath, a quiet chapter that must be lived before anything else can happen. Episode 6 will close not with dramatic music or loud declarations, but with silence. A powerful silence, the kind that follows storms. The kind that lets the dust settle before anything new can begin. And in that silence, the audience will feel everything: relief, sadness, hope, uncertainty, and anticipation for what comes next. Because Heartland has always been about healing, about journeys, about the messy and beautiful moments that shape a person. And now, Amy stands at the edge of a new chapter. A chapter where she remembers who she is not, because others believe in her, but because she believes in herself. And that is what makes this upcoming storyline so compelling. Amy is no longer just surviving her past. She is finally choosing her future. And whatever comes next, it will not be defined by fear. It will be defined by strength. For more weekly updates, deep discussions, and emotional breakdowns of Heartland Season 19, Episode 6 and beyond, make sure to like and follow, because trust me, the next episodes are about to get even more intense.